Hey, this is Mike from Oliver Hazard. You're listening to Verbal
But our
Shenanigans.
shenanigans are cheeky and fun.
Yeah, I mean, his shenanigans are cruel and tragic.
Which makes them not shenanigans at all, really. Evil shenanigans.
I swear to God, I'll pistol whip the next guy that says shenanigans.
Hello, everybody. Welcome on to the show. We're getting close to Christmas, Mike. We're getting I don't know. I guess we're recording this. We're about 8 days away. I think you will. I think what is today? Today's the 17th. And, yeah, 8-9 days, something like that, away from Christmas. We got the Christmas episode coming up. Mike, I know you are flooded with the Christmas spirit.
Yeah, I am. I'm glad you reminded me. Like, if you didn't tell me, at least like Facebook would come up and say, birthdays this week, your second uncle and Christ. So that would have reminded me then. So it's good to know a little advance in time.
So you would go out on a limb and say you are not in the Christmas spirit.
I'm not bad this year. I'd say I've had a pretty rough few days and all that kind of knocked a little stuff out. I had a little roller coaster. I think I want to get more into that in the second half of the show, but
yeah,
I'm not, I would say in like the grand scheme of things, I am pro Christmas. So
well, like, why don't we, just to start, let's get in the Christmas spirit here a little bit.
okay.
Let's take a look at our Dogfish Advent calendar. You know,
I'm looking at it. Yeah.
Yeah, the Dogfish Advent calendar you got sent. We got sent from our friends at Dogfish Head Brewing. It's day 17, I think, or 16.
It would be 17. Yeah.
Well, let's see. Where's your box?
I would guess Austell, Georgia.
What do you mean? You didn't get your box yet?
No. Of course, I am in the one area where FedEx has a basically global issue with this hub.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally anything sent into FedEx into Georgia is pretty much dead on arrival because for what I understand, they just don't have enough people, and they're just like, oh, we're working on it and all. Meanwhile, any new items that come in have the same effect. So they're not solving the issue. They're just extending the issue to the point of no return, where I will be lucky if I get it by 2025.
So you're telling me that you don't have 17 days worth of delicious or interesting Dogfish paraphernalia to bring you the Christmas spirit daily? I don't understand.
Yes, I would say the answer is 0 days of Christmas cheer from Dogfish right now. And that no fault of our good friends of Dogfish.
Let me tell you today, got Dogfish playing cards here. So if you want to, we can play solitaire through the podcast if you want, and you could tell me what moves to make with my card, since you don't.
I'll tell you where to put the cards if you want to go this route.
Since you don't have your cards, but but in all seriousness, we've been trying to track down Mike's Advent calendar here, his beer box, and so much to the point where Mike was chasing, what was it called? Liquid.
Yeah. Like before even like I knew of the issue, like the first day came and they're like, oh, nobody was there to take the package. So we're going to deliver it another day. And I said, well, that's odd. Like, me and my wife were at home at all times at some point during the day. That was fine. And then on the second day, I was waiting, and I'm like, I had to do some grocery shopping quickly. So I went to the local store, And as I was driving back into the development, as I'm pulling in on the right-hand side, I look on the left of a truck that's going to pull into the development, and it's a FedEx liquid delivery van. And I'm like, perfect. There's my advent calendar, and all it's filled with liquid.
Yep.
I can't wait to do it. And also, I turn in and I start driving towards the house, and I see him peel off to another direction of the development. I'm like, okay, maybe just a Garmin or whatever is Google Maps is just driving around the long way, or they have another delivery. Hey, no harm, no foul. I get back to the house, and I'm like there 10 minutes. I'm looking outside. I don't see anything, and I'm like, I'm gonna just walk to the end of my driveway and all. And I just stood out there by my mailbox for a good 10 minutes, and after 10 minutes, I had the honor of seeing the liquid delivery van go right past my house. In which case,
let me freeze you there. Now, in all my years, I have never seen a liquid delivery FedEx truck labeled liquid delivery. Does it look any different than a normal?
It doesn't have. It's like a regular van, like one of those abduction vans you keep on joking about and all, when you like no windows or stuff like that. But it has like a banner on the side. It has the words FedEx on it, and it says liquid delivery, whatever it is, and all.
Were you standing at the end of your driveway with a cardboard sign that said "Drop beer here"?
No. I just immediately called the number and I said, hello. I was supposed to get liquids today, and the liquid van passed by my house. Hence started the 2-week cursing out of the FedEx customer service people that has been going on since the initial, oh boy, I get a free gift. My life is good.
Yeah. Of all months, it is the Christmas month, and I'm not, the beer box, whatever. It's fun and all, but I'm so curious about how many people are sitting on presents for their kids that they ordered, medication that they might have mailed through FedEx, or things that they actually need. Never mind your playing cards and your 60-minute IPA, but something I don't know, medication or something that is necessary for people sitting in some warehouse. I can't believe they haven't fixed this at some point.
Yeah, if you want a good join, I'll go on Twitter to FedEx help and kind of look at the replies to them and just have a blast reading all those. It's been so bad. Somebody on a page made the maybe too soon joke of, who is the CEO of FedEx, by the way?
Oh, man.
So,
wow.
So there's some ticked off people here. And then on top of it, on our little side thing, we're like, oh, did you get your Chewy box? And I'm like, no, I didn't. And you're like, oh, come on. It said delivery today. I'm like, will you check to see if it's FedEx? And what was the next thing Scotty sent me?
Yep.
We're so sorry. FedEx is delayed.
Well, let's explain that too, because that was going to be my next story. So Mike, we had this promotional thing from Dogfish, and originally we were going to be posting a small story or a game each day on what we were going to be pulling out. So I've kind of just readjusted and done little Instagram things on most of the days to get something out there. But months and months ago, it's probably, I'm guessing it's around a year now. We had a tattoo artist by the name of Tiffer Wright on the show, and he had come on the show after an episode where you had described a time at a burlesque Star
Wars show. Yes.
And you were talking about a scene or part of the play or whatever you want to call it, where there was a twerking Chewbacca, and this spawned him, this amazing artist, to kind of go down this hole and create this, what I can describe, one of one print artwork of, and this started a year ago at least, and he's been he went off, went away for a while. We hadn't heard from him. We thought, okay, Chewie is gone. This is never going to get there, because I was all pumped up on one episode to give you this present that I had almost commissioned in a way to get to you, because I was saying you should draw this thing, and it never arrived. And then we lost contact with him. We're like, well, I guess that dream's dead. At least we have like the picture in our phones of what it looked like. Months later, up until a few weeks ago, he contacts me out of nowhere. He's like, oh, I was going through something. I had a new number. I am rocking on this Chewy thing. And he sends me a video, which I sent to you, of this ridiculously high def, mega detailed picture of Chewbacca twerking. I can only we can only describe it to the audience until we can show it to them to go into the detail. And he's like, I'm printing it on the highest resolution. I'm sending it. I spend like $48 to ship. He's like, are you kidding me? It's not there. So 2 amazing things that are supposed to get down to you are sitting in a warehouse somewhere, more than likely.
Yeah, and you have to understand how hard it is to curse out a customer service person, and as part of it, demanding, damn it, I want my liquids and Chewbacca twerking pictures now.
Next thing you know, the FBI's at your house. Like, we got to talk to you, sir.
I'm not Italian. I'm not that guy. Look at my abs. We are nothing alike.
But yeah. I hope by some Christmas miracle you receive both of these things at your doorstep, or at the Walgreens down the street, or whatever they were telling you to come pick it up at. But
I am borderline ready to get a part-time job at FedEx just to get access into that facility, just to grab my stuff and walk out the door. Because
now I'm getting nervous, because our Christmas episode, I have 2 things coming down to you. None were FedEx, but I don't know, like, what is cross-pollinated and who uses what service. Now I'm worried they're not even going to get to you for Christmas, Mike, and that would bring me down.
Yeah, you got a few things coming. I don't know when they will show up. I mean, like, I had a weekend something, so it's there's 3 things coming. I know one is definitely going to be late. I know one said it would be there like Christmas Eve. To be honest, I forgot what the first thing.
I hope it's your beer box, so you're going to get me to ship it down to you.
Oh, we put the wrong address on there.
Well, we'll just reveal on the show through pictures if our presence
worst case scenario.
Physically there. But we are. I'm curious. Here in Jersey, we are living in Drone Central. I'm sure you are well aware of it by now. We talked about it a little last week on the show. I'm curious, have the drones at all made it down towards your way, or are we still just predominantly here in Jersey? Have you heard anything down in Georgia?
Nothing down here. For what I've seen of the news, it's all like Northeast states, like Virginia, Delaware, Pennsylvania, Jersey, New York. So I guess the Iranians just care about you people up there. You're the important ones. They have to figure out bombing. They're not really concerned. I mean, we're the ones with all the guns, so that's why they're not daring to bring their drones down here.
I would say, I would be lying to you if I didn't say it's a little unsettling living in a state where drones are just flying overhead at all times. And people are not BSing if you are listening to this in a different state or country. You go out here in New Jersey and you look into the night sky and you see, maybe your eyes play tricks on you and you see a plane or a helicopter. But within those 10 minutes, you're going to start seeing a drone or another drone or another drone. I have personally seen a bunch. People in my neighborhood have been posting videos nonstop on the little like neighborhood Facebook. It's a little, it's a little bit like, can we stop gaslighting people and saying like, there's nothing to worry about. We're overreacting. There's nothing really going on. We don't know what's going on. Like, can we stop? Like the big rumor now, whether it's a rumor or true, is that they are scanning for something radioactive material that was apparently lost through a port in Jersey, which could be part of a dirty bomb. They could be testing this to scan for future weapons, future chemical warfare, things like that. But can we tell the American people what's going on instead of flying drones over? Can we start here? Can we start with they're our drones? Can we just start there instead of being like, well, maybe it's China. Well, maybe it's Iran. Well, maybe it's Russia. Like, we're just going to play this game where we're just going to say the citizens are overreacting. But we're going to go that far again. We're not going to tell people anything.
Yeah, it's like if you woke up and you saw somebody in a tree and you called the cops and they're like, "Don't worry, sir, we don't think that's a criminal," and then they just like hang up on you immediately. It's like, no, I don't care what the reasoning is. Give me something here. At least knock something off of the what it could be's in this scenario. Like literally to say, guess what? We all had a meeting. It's not Mongolia. We're going to the next country.
So you're telling me, like, even back in the Obama administration, even before that, we were able to bomb Iran and Iraq and things like that with drones from way far away and control them. We're going to be that stupid where we're going to tell the American people we don't know where they're from. We're not sure. We don't have. Are you telling me we don't have the technology to figure out where drones are coming from? We've been blowing up innocent or non-innocent people in the Middle East for decades now with these things. We can't intercept them and tell it. It's complete BS at this point where you're telling us you don't know what this is, where you've got to investigate, and we're just going to let people with their iPhones look into the night sky and go, yeah, there's 10 of them right there.
I feel that if they don't know what's going on, they got to try something. And here's what I'm thinking.
Okay, here we go. Strap in, people.
Yeah. We had the military get in hot air balloons and just drop heavy weights to try to bring down all the drones, like maybe like an Anvil or something like that.
So so I was going to make a comment before about like you guys got the guns and how Trump like said something like we should shoot them down. And
that's dangerous.
Yeah. Well, I was like, oh dangerous. God, here we go. The rednecks are going to come out and start actually shooting at these things. Your theory is even one step above that. Instead of shooting at them, we should get many, many hot air balloons.
Yeah.
You ever go to the Quick Check Hot Air Balloon Festival when you were in Jersey?
No, I haven't. I think they got one down here. Well, it's not Quick Check, but they have hot air.
They were the sponsor. It could be something else now. But anyway, it's pretty cool. I did a film project in one of them. Got to go up in a hot air balloon. Hot air balloon's frightening, by the way, when you're a tall guy like me or you, because that basket, at least the one I was in, it was about mid-thigh. Like, that's a lot. That doesn't take a lot of leverage for me to go ass over tea kettle and just that's the end of me. Like, it was a little unsettling.
Yeah. It seems like somebody goes, ooh, and I turn around too quickly and then I just fall out.
Yeah. And I had a camera.
But I will take out a drone in the process. So that's the good thing.
I was holding a camera like that too. So my vision wasn't even like, you're looking through a lens. It was a little weird. Anyway, so your theory is we should go fly many, many hot air balloons up in the sky. Now, let me remind you that hot air balloons don't travel by the wind. They don't have any steering. So we're just going to keep an eye out when we pass a drone.
Well, we're not being able to keep track of these drones because they're all over. So there's no reason to worry about steering. They will fall into a drone in some scenario, these hot air balloons.
Now, we're going to get 2, maybe 3, I don't know, strong people up in the hot air balloon. To lift an anvil.
Yeah, military people.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
This is professional, Scott. Come on. You think I'm going to put rookie anvil droppers up in the sky? Come on now.
A couple strong army men? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
You look, Burlew, get up in that balloon.
So the anvil, they're going to drop it from, I don't know, a couple thousand feet. So you have to fly above the drones, drop an anvil. Now, what say you, Mike, if they miss the drone? And where is it?
well, maybe we'll have a couple like backup things, maybe like a couple bowling balls or something like that. I know we can't have too many anvils in the hot air balloon. I figured this out, but we'll have other kind of things and all. Maybe like some lengthy things, like a wooden door we can throw down on it.
Now, I know you've had a rough week.
That way we have bigger space.
I know you've had a rough week, but your theory of bringing doors, bowling balls, and anvils up in a hot air balloon
with military men, so it'll be professional.
With army men.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Trump is dumb because he's trying to shoot, so you're going from below to up where the drones can see it. The drones will be looking down, so they'll just be like flying around, and it's like, oh, snap, what's coming down? I don't understand. They won't be able to figure it out.
So, I mean, that anvil maybe lands on someone's house or someone's head down on the ground.
Well, that's why we have professionals, so they can aim better.
So they know who is moving underneath them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just like as you drop the anvil, just like lean over and go, hey! Just so in case anybody is in the area, they know, oh, they're anvil dropping. Let me get to a safe spot.
Now, you have cooked up many great ideas over the years.
$1 million ideas all along this podcast.
Yeah, I mean, ranging from the spicy wine to the pet deer to the... I mean, there's just so many things. I have to say, Mike, I'm not feeling you on this one. I think...
Well, I'm not trying to make a business out of this. This is just a military operation.
Oh, you're just taking
I'm not looking to make money on this. That'd be a stupid business, Scott. Who's going to pay me to drop an anvil? I'm doing this for America right now.
Yeah, I know we've been away for a week and a half, but we were right back in the saddle here with the stupidity you've come to love on the show, or not love. Judging by the downloads, I'm thinking not love is the category most people are in. But yes, I just can't like. Someone put it best too. They were like, if this is true, you got to keep an eye on the politicians, because if they leave New Jersey, you need to leave New Jersey along with them. Like, you got to go.
You will find Chris Christie on the beach in this scenario. And you see that dude heading for the border, you go with him.
He might be able to survive an anvil drop, though.
He's got a bulky built and all. Like, maybe he could be the ground control.
What if we just... You know how I feel about Mr. Christie. I'm in favor of dropping him on the drones. Fly him.
That would be a good amount of area right there. I mean, we would save space from the doors in that scenario. So,
but yes, like at some point, maybe before the Christmas, or do they know this is just impending doom? We're all dead. They're just letting us try to get to Christmas to like, keep us distracted. Oh, look at the lights. Look at Santa. Don't worry about the drones flying overhead, surveilling where you live 24 hours a day.
Yeah, well,
maybe I'm overreacting. I don't know. Maybe I don't like
fear like if you fear a nuclear reaction is about to happen, can you send me like the last 5 days of your advent calendar? Don't send FedEx, man. That'd be no way to honor you and all. I'm gonna have to wait like 4 weeks to do the Goodbye Scott episode. So
yeah, I mean, that's an interesting question. If one of us bit the dust, like if one of us died, would you try to carry on the podcast?
I mean, you got all the passwords, so that may be a little hard and all. I mean, it'd be awkward at the funeral and all, like just leaning over to your wife and like, seriously, like, did he use like initials?
Was it
have any clue for me? I tried Burlew is great. That didn't work. I was shocked.
Yeah, I don't know. If you died, I don't think I would carry this podcast on anymore. I don't think I would call it Verbal Shenanigans or anything anymore. I think I would try to reinvent and do something different. But I don't think I could. I don't think I could sit here and like be like, "Hey, we got Mike's dad, and so long, Mike. We're moving on." And it just wouldn't be. We're too deep in this thing for just I know we joke all the time, but just for like a replacement to be like, hey, everybody, we're moving forward.
Yeah, I'm not sure Big Wild Hank would really bring the ideas that I bring to the show. I gotta be honest with you.
Oh, you mean the great ideas? He might actually have logical ideas.
When have I not given a great idea? I don't understand. Like you speak as if it could occur.
I mean, you've had your share of a couple suspect ideas. That's all I will say. I don't want to bring you down any more than you've been this week. So, but I will
just
say,
promise me if I die that you'll publish my story, My Friend Blackie, for me in honor of me.
What would you do if I died? Would you just be like, that's it?
Like I definitely probably would look in the same route as you. Like I enjoy podcasts. Obviously, I wouldn't continue the name, but I would need somebody to feed off of to really do it. I've done a couple solo shows and all. It's like one of those you can do like a once a month solo show, but I can't fathom trying to come here every single week and all. And,
yeah. The couple times I've done the solo thing, it's like fun for like the first 20 minutes. You're kind of like, this is kind of silly and fun. And by like 20 minutes in, you're like, this sucks. Like there's nothing fun about it. Like, I don't know how Bill Burr does this twice a week, basically. He just rants for like an hour twice a week by himself. You know?
Yeah. Well, that's Bill Burr, man. He gets upset with everything. So
yeah, but like I like to compare our comedic timing and ability to hold an audience to his. Like we're pretty similar. At least two of us combined could be as good as Bill Burr.
Yeah. Well, we're better because he's just Burr and I'm Burlew.
Oh my God.
So by rule, like I advance past him.
I really hope there is an anvil and it's being dropped over your house right now, specifically where you're sitting.
Be great if like you were crossing your fingers and it just drops like 5 feet to the right of me and Scott, look, it's here. Damn it.
All right, Mike, I got the dogfish cards here. I have not looked. If this is a red card, I'm gonna die first. If this is a black card, you're gonna die first. All right.
All right.
I'm gonna show it to the camera.
Okay.
What did I say? Black, you're dead?
Kind of sounds like it. Yep.
Oh, yeah. All right. So, Mike, you're dying.
I thought it was like a card trick you were doing there.
Oh,
like, is he going to guess it? Will I spoil it my answer?
Your reaction threw me off because I'm like, oh crap! Did I say? I can't remember which one was which.
I mean, Scott, we lost the amazing Kreskin. I thought you were taking his role right there.
I might as well.
He may show up in a certain little thing in a couple weeks.
He's gonna make it. That's true.
I gotta look at the full list and fill out the brackets. They're not all guaranteed advancements. Make you think about it, people. No, I mean, hell, like you were stubborn and all talking about Cale Yarborough going to the second round last year and all. It happens sometimes. We've had some like terrible brackets. We had some amazing brackets, and then sadly, the amazing brackets are the sadder brackets than the non-amazing brackets. If you think about it.
Well, with that, no one's going to die. At least neither of us we're going to make it to the new year, but it is time to get to our guest. This is a band that kind of popped up on my radar maybe like 2 years ago. There's a song Grenadine that's been in my playlist for a while and whatnot. And they're a good band, man. They're really starting to grow. They got a new EP coming out. And they go by the name of Oliver Hazard. So today we have, I guess you could call him the lead singer. They do a lot of harmonies and singing together and whatnot. But we have Mike Belazis coming on the show of the band Oliver Hazard out of Ohio. So let's get Oliver. I just did what I did. I almost said let's get Oliver on the line. Let's get Mike of Oliver Hazard on the line. Hey, Mike.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you are.
Yep, can hear you.
What's going on, man? How are you?
Doing well. Thanks for adjusting the start time. Appreciate that.
Oh, yeah. No worries here. Doesn't matter. We were just talking before this. I'm in Jersey. We're being there's drones hovering all over our state right now, and this is probably the last interview we're going to do anyway, so might as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you and me have to get a report just in case Scott's. If you see an explosion on his side, just know you and I have to continue.
We'll keep talking.
You're in California, right?
At the moment, yeah. The band's based in Ohio.
But
yeah.
I know you said you were a Pacific time. Are you guys hearing about this drone nonsense that's going on over here, or is it kind of like covered up over there?
I feel like I've seen a few headlines, but haven't dug into it too much.
I mean, it's wild.
What's going on?
There's basically drones flying all over the state of New Jersey, like northern New Jersey, just going back and forth at night, like huge drones the size of like cars.
Oh, wow. That's
And
concerning.
yeah, the government's telling us like we don't know what it is, and basically every day people are posting videos of drones outside their house and over. It's wild, man. It's a little disconcerting. That's all I have to say.
Right. You got to move to Ohio now.
Yeah. Well, I feel like you're Ohio. That's not far away enough. I mean, I feel like you guys might.
Yeah,
be
that's
next,
right.
But
yeah, we might be.
Yeah. So,
coming.
Mike, thanks for giving us a few minutes here on the show. Mike from the band Oliver Hazard. You guys are what are you guys currently on a tour at the moment, or like why are you in California at the moment?
No, we have like 2 months off. Yeah, so that's why I'm here. I just live here when we're not touring. So I'm kind of back and forth a lot. So yeah.
Your band's been you guys have been together for a while. You've been picking up steam. You just released new things, which we'll get to in a minute. But I'm curious, when you guys are playing as a three-piece and writing as a three-piece, is it like what is your like creative process as far as coming up with music? Are you guys get in the studio, jam it out kind of band, write together? Are you all, because I know like you all sing, you guys are really big on harmonies and things like that. So I imagine there's a lot of co-writing going on, but are you coming with ideas to the studio to practice, or what is your most of the time technique for writing?
Yeah, I mean, well, the writing's pretty like collaborative in a sense where one person will like have an idea and then they bring it to the rest of the group and we kind of like finish it together. So I think like the seed is always like typically born with like one person, and then it's like a collaborative polish. But as far as like putting it into the studio, I think like typically our method is we don't want to work on it like too much, I think we like to bring something like relatively raw into the studio and just like figure it out in a sense the day of, and kind of figure out, we like have a general idea of like instrumentation, but we don't like demo it to death. Typically like the recording we get in the studio is like one of the first recordings that we actually get of the song, which is kind of fun. Creates a little magic to it. So
now if I was I want to clarify if this is correct, as I was looking up on the band and all. This is correct. So your first album, you wrote the album in 2 weeks because you won a drawing on Facebook, and you had to convince the people you had the rights to record one song, but you played all 10 of them straight through live. And I'll kind of talk us through, is that the story, and like give the background on this?
Yeah, I mean, basically, we weren't really a band. We were just 3 guys who were working regular old jobs, and I had like a bucket list goal of recording a record. Actually, not even recording a record, playing just like a show. I kind of wrote music in my bedroom, but never, showed anyone. And so I was like, oh, maybe I'll like play a show of 20 minutes at like an open mic or something. And the same week that I put my name into this like dive bar kind of 20-minute slot, I also put my name into like this recording contest, and I also hit up 2 friends to see if they'd play the show with me. And it ended up turning into preparing 10 songs for this show, which ended up being playing 10 songs at this recording studio, and then those 10 songs ended up being the first record. And it was all recorded live, and it's got like a very raw vibe to it. So we've always taken that mentality forward. We wanted to like find ways in our future music to like harken back to that, rawness in the first record and figure out how to like kind of keep that thread, maybe a through line, into more polished music as we continue to like make more polished records. So,
well, that actually segues, and both goes back to my question from before. Like with a band like yours, where there's a ton of harmony, there's like a lot of folk influence, indie influence, things like that. Like I feel like your music, if it was too polished, wouldn't have the same vibe. So, but so there is like that room for kind of raw harmony and instrumentation and whatnot. But like when you guys are recording, are you individually tracking it? Especially with like I listen to your harmonies a lot. Like a song like Grenadine that's on my playlist a lot.
mm-hmm.
I'm just curious, are you tracking those together at once? Are you adding these layers afterwards, or a little bit of both? Because I'm always curious, like the stripped down stuff. Sometimes I feel like it's more complicated almost to get that sound.
For sure. Yeah, no, a lot of it's actually tracked together. Usually when we sing at the exact same time in the studio.
Right.
And it kind of just like enables a certain chemistry, Sometimes if you do it individually, it just doesn't come out right. So we try to do it all together.
Yeah, because I was gonna say I've seen you guys like Instagram videos, things like that, singing live, and to me it sounds almost better when you do it that way than when you layer it in a machine.
For sure. Yeah, totally. Definitely.
When you start this off and all, like you start doing this in like your late 20s or whatever, is it immediately like, ooh, I'm hooked, we're going to be a band? Or do you still got that whole, ooh, I don't know about leaving the 9 to 5? And what's kind of like your mindset as you guys are starting this process?
Yeah, I mean, I think like the first year was taking like as much PTO as we could. And then year 2, it was like, okay, we just got to make a decision. It's either we do this full time and have random part-time jobs, or we don't do it at all. So we all kind of took the dive, and obviously COVID hit, so that didn't make things easy on year 3. And then year 4 kind of got a little wonky, because we were like exiting the pandemic and no one knew, if live music was starting again. That was kind of our main source of income. But around 2023 is when we were able to like go full time again, and we hopped back on tour and kind of just got like the business end of things moving again as far as being a touring live band. So yeah, the last 2 years it's pretty much full time music. Everybody has like various like side jobs here and there, but it's it's pretty full on. So it's not easy to make that dive. It's definitely like a humble lifestyle for a little while, maybe forever. We'll see. But I guess that's just that's just how it goes. So
I gotta ask you. So the band Oliver Hazard, how many people have come up to you thinking either you or one of the members of the band's name is Oliver Hazard, and you guys are like a solo artist? And then also kind of go into. I think it's an interesting story for like for listeners to hear on the origin of the name of the band.
For sure. Yeah, no, it happens like almost every show where someone's surprised to see that there's 3 of us and none of us are named Oliver. And then the other funny thing is like when we first started playing shows like outside of Ohio, and I remember we traveled like Arkansas for a gig, and we showed up, and it was probably like 15 minutes till showtime. It was like this festival thing where there wasn't a big sound check ahead of time. We showed up and there's just one mic. And that was it.
Yeah.
And we were like, dude, like we've got like 14 inputs, like 7 different instruments, 3 vocals. There's 3. It's a full band, So yeah, it doesn't really happen anymore as far as like, we're at least like, we have enough notoriety where at least the sound engineers know that there's 3 people in the band.
Sure.
So that's kind of cool. But yeah, a lot of folks still think one of us is Oliver. So
Did you ever
But yeah,
thought
the
about
name.
naming yourself Dukes of Hazzard though? Because that's like one of my
Yeah.
favorite shows there. So.
No, we get the misspelling a lot because we only have one Z in our name, and they use two. So that's actually one of my biggest pet peeves is like when people spell our name with like multiple Z's. I'm like, oh God. Especially like someone who's like, you know, shouldn't be spelling it that way, like they've known us long enough. I'm like, come on, guys. But yeah, the name is derived from, we grew up on Lake Erie, like about 10 minutes from the lake. And we grew up on this river that like, kind of like the delta of the lake. It's called Maumee Bay. And there was like a historic battle that was fought like 200 years ago. And the sailor's name was Oliver Hazard Perry, and we wanted to find some sort of namesake that tied us to the place that we grew up because that was important to us. So that's how we landed on that name.
Yeah, you guys have a lot of music and things tying you to your hometown and where you guys are from. Now, is that intentional, or is that seems to just be what comes out of you guys when you make music together?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think like in the music side, that's just kind of what comes out, but a lot of the like branding
Sure.
is very like, pretty intentional just because that's like our biggest market is our home region, and like our communities kind of shown up for us, and so we kind of take the responsibility to kind of show up for them, and that's where we make sure to keep our music festival going in our hometown, and keep bringing money back to Northwest Ohio, and we donate a lot of money to our local arts commission every year. So we just kind of I think it's a lot of people forget where they're from, and so we've always made it a point not to do that. So
now, go ahead, Mike. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, as I was prepping, I was checking out your YouTube channel and all. Love Summertime Whiskey, by the way. That's a great song. And you guys seem very humble. Like I saw a shore house, like we were performing in front of 20, 50 people. Now we're doing in thousands and all. Do you remember like the exact moment when you like saw that clicking where it's like, okay, now we're getting a following, or did it just like one day you're like, oh wow, this is different?
Yeah, honestly, it was like last fall. Is kind of when things kind of switched as far as the live shows go. We booked like our first like headline tour in a lot of major markets on the East Coast, and almost every single one of them sold out, which we'd never really like sold out a show outside of our hometown before.
Wow.
And we were like, oh, this is kind of weird. And like one of the venues up in Boston, we even like upgraded the venue, and then that one sold out. We're like, wow, this is crazy. Like, how are all these people buying tickets? But yeah, and then so that was, yeah, I think a lot of it just had to do with like timing. We'd been around for long enough. We'd put in a lot of work with living rooms and playing for 35 folks around the country at a time. And I think there's like a tipping point at some point, and we just kind of started kicking off playing a lot of support shows last year with different bands that have bigger audiences than us. And I think you just put enough of that grind in that eventually there's a little bit of a tipping point. So
you're doing a beautiful job of segueing to the next question I have for you, because my next question, you guys have opened for a lot of bigger bands and been on a lot of big festivals and things like that, and I'm curious, you haven't been around forever, but now you're getting where you've been a band for a while. Is there a band that you've played with or toured with that like you look at and you're like, okay, they really kind of showed us the ropes, or that you learned a lot from going forward on how to navigate this music business, or whether it's touring, whether it's playing with, like, is there a band that you looked up to or even surprised you that you worked with that you're like, wow, like this is the standard we want to try to strive to?
Totally. Yeah, I think there's a few. There's like almost every single band we play with, we kind of like glean some really important piece of information from, like I'd say like
sure
there's this band called the 502s. They're out of Florida, and they're like a really popular like indie folk pop band coming out in like the TikTok era. And they are just like we kind of learn like what it takes, like dedication to fans from those guys. Like they play like kickball with their fans on like Saturdays after the show, and like
That's awesome.
they're just nonstop. They do like meet and greets before every show, after every show. It's like kind of this full on dedication to the fan. And then yeah, we toured with this band Houndmouth for
Yep.
like 15 shows last year, and yeah, just like learning. They've just been nailing the live show for 10 years now, and they're just so good live. That was just really like remarkable seeing like just their stage presence, and taking little tips and tricks from their just their stage presence is really fun. So yeah, I'd say like everyone we play with, for the most part, we learn just like the one or two little things that we kind of take to the next show.
Mike, maybe that's what we've been missing. You have not played kickball with any of our listeners over the years.
I mean, Scott, I try to organize it. I go into parks with big balls and I start screaming the podcast name, and people just give me weird looks and all. So I just get used to it and chuck them with a ball and then run away when I see the cops.
It's true.
Yeah. Out of curiosity, with these tours and all, are you like into like the band life of travel? Are you one of those like just get me on a plane and get me there kind of types, or is it relaxing or good, or what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've been doing it long enough where we're kind of getting to the point where we appreciate like a little bit higher of a standard of living. We're not like cramming 5 people into one hotel room or anything like that. We make sure everyone has their own bed, and I think we look at spending money as like an investment rather than a loss, kind of investment in our own mental health. So yeah, we don't take our budget as seriously as we used to, just because it's just not, longevity is kind of worth more than short-term gain in our eyes.
So we didn't even we didn't ask you yet anything like growing up, or like musically, were you a kid that was always into music? Were you singing, playing, or when did music really kind of find you, and when did you actually be like, okay, maybe I'm good at this, and maybe I can do something with this?
Yeah, I mean, I always played. My grandmother was a pianist. My dad was a drummer. But yeah, honestly, I wasn't really in many bands, and if I was like the drummer, back in like high school, and yeah, I didn't really consider it honestly as like a viable career until it was kind of handed to us through like a few layers of serendipity in 2016 when we recorded that record. I think it was like more of a hobby and more of a, something I enjoyed doing rather than anything I actually wanted to do professionally. But when the opportunity came and presented itself, I kind of, took it and ran with it. So only it doesn't happen more than twice in people's lives, I don't think. So.
Sure.
Now, if somebody's new comes up and say, who is Oliver Hazard, what would be like the best intro song in your opinion to say, you want to figure out our band, this is the thing to start us off with?
It's a good question, because I'm answering for him, but it's a good question because there's a lot of eclectic styles, and you guys do switch it up a good amount. So it is funny because I've been like playing with the new EP a little bit and like bopping around some things. So I'm curious what you're going to say, but I have my own answer, and I'm curious if it matches.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of just go with like our classic fan favorite. I'll turn people to Dandelion first, only because it has so many streams that like the odds of someone hearing that song at like a coffee shop but not actually knowing who it is pretty high. So we actually make sure to play that song at every show. Mainly, not only because it's our most popular song, but because there's so many people who have no idea who we are, but when they hear that song, their like eyes light up and they're like, oh my gosh, this is you. So it's just amazing, like in the age of Spotify, what the access people have, but they don't even realize, who half these bands are.
Yeah, there's a song you guys do, Ballerina, that I think is like a very good mix of a lot of the things you guys do.
For sure. Yeah, no, I love that one. Yeah, I'm glad you appreciate that one.
I do.
It's one of my favorites as well.
It's been on the recent playlist a lot lately. Mike, first off, I want to thank you for giving us a few minutes of your time. But before you go, we'd be remiss if we did not get into a little bit of the new EP. I'm curious, one, like, when do you like? I've always been curious. How do bands decide like the EP is the way to go for a new release instead of like, let's get that last chunk and make it, a full length. But give us a little insight into the idea of this new album. There's a lot of cool songs on it, and just kind of tell us what they should expect a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, EPs versus LPs. It's honestly, there's like a really sad, like new age data answer I can give you if you'd like to hear that, or I can give you like
I actually love it. I love that kind of stuff.
Response.
So yes. Yep.
Basically, like there's a code that's associated with like every single song in Spotify. And if you release your music, let's say you release 3 singles, or maybe you release 5 singles, and then you want to release an album. The way Spotify works is if you release a record, an LP, it recodes every single song that you've released in the past. And so like all this like algorithmic momentum that you've built by releasing those songs, let's say we released like Wild Eyed Blue, for example, 10 months ago. If we released a record tomorrow, the algorithm momentum that Wild Eyed Blue gained would all disappear and it would start from square one. But if you release an EP, they get to like keep their Spotify codes, and all the like data and momentum of the algorithm continues on. So technically it's like a Spotify thing. So that's why you're seeing so many bands releasing singles and EPs.
Interesting.
And typically not as many records until it's like a very special record. So probably what we're going to do, which is what we did on the last record, is release this as an EP and then possibly a second EP next year that becomes like a full length record, and just say fuck it and lose all the algorithmic momentum. That's like the non-romantic answer. But
yeah. But yeah, and the EP is called Raindrop River. I kind of forgot to mention that before, but
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think like the cool thing about this is we get to like we've released 5 of these songs, and then we released Raindrop River, and we were able to kind of like repackage the 5 songs into a body of work, which I think is always something that artists like to do, and we particularly like repackaging our music into LPs and EPs in order to just showcase a body of work. Like these 6 songs in Raindrop River are all from a moment in time. They kind of represent a specific moment in time for the band, and they kind of represent this era of the band, this timestamp. So, but yeah, there's 6 beautiful songs. I think it's some of our more unique work yet. It was recorded by this really cool producer in Nashville. His name's Jakir King. He's done a bunch of really cool records like Zach Bryan and Modest Mouse and Kings of Leon. But yeah, if to get a chance, check it out.
And that just came out on the 6th, correct? Like it just came out last week. Yep. So yeah, check out the EP now. It's on. I've been there's a couple songs I've been, like I said, been putting on the playlist the last week or so. So it is good. So check that out.
And people want to get in Christmas mood, the guys got Winter Wonderland on your YouTube channel as well.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we put that a couple years ago. That was a fun one to tackle. So.
We had a blast talking to you. My final question to you is, does everybody in Ohio eat that Skyline chili? Because it looks a little weird to me. I'm just kind of curious. Chili with like cinnamon on spaghetti. I'm like playing around, but there's something weird about that description.
I don't get to eat it that much because a lot of them are in southern Ohio,
Mhm.
and we're a little too far north. But yeah, I will not lie. Every time we pass through, I'll make sure to grab a hot dog. It's pretty good. You should give it a shot.
If I'm in Ohio. Yep.
Mike, thanks so much for giving us a few minutes. Good luck with the EP. Good luck with the whores that are supporting the EP and the albums in the future. If you got something cool coming up in the future, we'd love to have you back on. And again, thanks for spending some time with us.
Yeah, thanks for having us, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, Mike. Finally, a Mike on the show that brings some value to the podcast.
I mean, he had Hazard in his band's name, so I can't really knock him in any way. It would go against my own personal beliefs and religions by trying to say anything scolding towards that. So I will
just because he has the name Hazard, you assume that he's
in
like
his group name, yeah,
that he's part of like this Dukes of Hazzard family of yours.
I'm sure, like when that general in northern Ohio was going through everything in his head, like even before the show was on, that like deep down he was doing all his military stuff. And he said, sometime down the road, there'll be two good old boys, never mean no harm. And I'm fighting for them right now.
Yes. But yeah, go check them out. I dig them. They're great, like easy listening, chill music. And I think they're very talented band. So go check out Oliver Hazard today. Mike, have you seen the Wicked movie at all?
Have.
You have?
I have.
I would like to see it. I saw the play back in the day, so I'm curious and got great review. Was it good?
I felt it was great, you know. I think Ariana Grande, she nailed it as Glenda. I forget the actress who played the Wicked Witch, but everybody in there did a great job, like great singing, nothing that was like forced.
Yeah.
It was very enjoyable the entire way, and I look forward to the second part next year.
There's another part?
Yeah, they basically split it as like the musical. So Act 1 is now. Act 2, they're going to dive more into the Wizard of Oz pieces of it. They're going to have new music for that. Cool. So it's not just the music of the musical. So
yeah, I'm sure it's good. I have nothing against it. I do notice that the interviews with those two are super weird, by the way. Super weird.
Yeah.
You're my light. Oh my God. You're my light. Oh my God. You're my light.
Did you Uber to the set?
Yeah. What is that? What is that? Like an act?
We were talking. We were going to get a lift, and Lyft was unavailable. And then we were consoling each other. And then we said, why don't we download the Uber app?
Is that like an act? Drug use? Like, what is that? Like, what's going on there?
Yeah, I think it's like it's a cute little love between the two, but like as I kind of joked about, like the simplest question, you know, it's like they go to a deli, you know, you want tomatoes on that?
Yeah, there's something like it's almost like visually or like it's like uncomfortable watching. Like I don't know, it's something weird about it. But I'll check it out when it's streaming because I have two kids, so there's no longer such thing as going to the movies anymore for a while. But so Mike, I was curious if you with the big boom, Wizard of Oz coming back into the social life of people, the folklore, the original pair of slippers worn by Judy Garland in The Wizard of Oz were sold at auction. I'm curious if you could get close to a number that some of these things from movies got sold at. Okay.
All
right. But so big boom, the ruby red slippers, where are you putting the price point at for these slippers? I'm curious if you could even get in the ballpark.
66 million.
What'd you say?
66 million.
Actually, that's not an absurd guess. It's exactly half of that, $32.5 million.
Yeah. I knew it was some kind of large number. It's in the Guinness Book of World Records as the most expensive shoes in the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they were sold at auction. Now, do you think that is an investment, or do you think that is?
No, I think there's some grandma walking around with ruby red slippers and all, not even blinking an eye.
You know what my dream is? That like there's some woman that just married into money and her husband died and she was like, I want those slippers, and she's just wearing them around the house, like getting them dirty, like shipping them up.
She's walking and it's like, ooh, pick up basketball. I'm going out there with my ruby reds.
All right, so 32.5. Okay. So insane amount of money. So I'm curious if let's go through a couple of these items and see if you can get close. Okay. These are some of the most expensive props ever sold. Now, Darth Vader's helmet and mask from Empire Strikes Back. Where do you think we're sitting?
I am going to say 8 million.
Mike, I'm with you. I thought it would be way more expensive, and I'm not sure what year this was sold, but I think this is a deal. $898,000.
Yeah, that has to be like 80s, late 80s at best for like less than $1 million. There's no way whoever has it's not putting up for at least 10 right now. So,
yeah. All right. R2D2 from Star Wars, the unit, the R2D2 unit.
The unit itself.
The one they stuck a midget in the. Well, actually, I don't know.
That's the only reason why I would buy it. And I'm like, I would buy it. I'm saying I'm having a party, and we're just going to stuff little people in here all night. All right, that's the theme of tonight's party. You need to bring somebody short enough to shove into R2D2. I don't get freaky like Diddy. I just shove people into R2D2 all night.
BYOLP.
Exactly.
What do we got?
I'm gonna say it's more than Darth Vader since it's the full unit. I'm gonna go 4 million.
Not bad, Mike. 2.76 million.
Okay.
To me, that's a deal. If I'm playing with someone's money, like, you know, if you're a big millionaire, multi-billionaire, and I'm like, I'm going to make you some money, I'm going in at 3 million on the R2D2. Okay. Sam's piano from Casablanca.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, revolutionary movie.
It's a legendary movie. Would you say, though, the prop is that legendary? Like, it's bragging, but you know what I mean? Somebody has the original Darth Vader mask. You're like, oh, God. Somebody's like, yes, piano's in Casablanca. Oh, okay. But it's also piano, so you're going to max up that.
And you're talking like, I think it was what, Dooney Wilson, like he was the guy who played it. I'll give you a hint. It's pretty up there. It's a powerful one. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to say 12 million.
What, 3.4 million the piano sold for. Not sure if that's the deal. I'm still thinking the R2D2 unit, and obviously the Darth Vader mask is the value here. Now, here's one I'm very curious how high you think, and I'm not going to give any clues to this one. Okay. Marilyn Monroe, okay? The white dress from the 7-Year Itch. Now, Mike, if you remember, that is the photo.
Yeah, her under the vent.
Yeah, holding the dress. Arguably one of the most iconic photos or scene, whatever, in Hollywood, right? Where do you think this one sold at? I'm curious if you're going to think this is a bargain or not.
I'm going to say 20 million.
Mike, this was acquired for $4.6 million.
Wow, these had to be old auctions. There is zero possibility it's been in the last. Can't be in the century. Can't be in the 2000s.
I agree. I think you spend that money all day long. And if you don't have the money, you ask your listeners to give you the money and we can make money together.
Listen here, audience. You buy. I will wear the Marilyn Monroe dress while I'm shoving little people into R2D2
with the ruby red
slippers and the Darth Vader mask. You're going to get all that. We're going to put it. We'll put it on Patreon so you don't have to worry about people on YouTube getting it for free. But
All right, let's go rapid fire real quick.
Okay.
Luke Skywalker's lightsaber from A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back. What did that sell for?
Since these values are lower, I'm gonna send mine a little bit down. I'm gonna say $3 million.
Dude, a bargain here. $450K. $450K. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang's flying car. What do you got?
That's gotta be like the weirdest thing to spend a bunch of money on. Like you're gonna be telling people about it, and they're like, "What?" And they're gonna have to Google "Chitty Chitty Bang Bang," and they'll probably spell it wrong and go to a porn site.
It made me laugh when I put it on my list here.
Yeah,
the flying car from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. What do you got?
$3 million.
805,000. 805,000.
These are definitely older auctions.
I think some of these are probably in possession of the people still.
Yeah.
Darth Vader, we covered that. Audrey Hepburn's dress from Breakfast at Tiffany's. Big one here.
Big one.
Not big. I mean, I think it's a big item. Is what
I hear you. I hear you. I'm going to say I'm just bringing the number down just because I'm thinking of nowadays, and I'm going to say 900,000.
Dead on. $920,000. $920,000. This one, I love it because I'm thinking if I had the money, the expendable income, which I do. I'm pretty loaded.
You got the verbal shenanigan IP. And the whole shenanigan-verse under it.
That's why if I die first, I got to put that in my will at least. So make sure it's protected.
Your kids are just set. They're never going to work a day in their life. You do realize that.
No. What's going to happen is I'm going to die. My kids are going to inherit the $14 a month Podbean fee and the Zoom fee to keep it going.
They'll be like, "Mom, do I need to go in there with Mr. Burlew again? Your father requested it. I'm sorry, hon. He's got a 5-year contract."
All right. If I had the money and I could put this in my house or somewhere, I am all in on this. The dance floor from Saturday Night Fever.
Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a conversation piece and something we could all go dance on. Go have fun on. Yep.
Easily.
Let me hear. What would you pay for it?
I mean, what I would pay for is not what these numbers are coming up with.
Okay, you have a lot of money. What would you pay for? You're in these you're with these people. What are we getting?
In this auction itself, I'm gonna probably go about $6 million.
Dude, this guy got it at a bargain. Yeah. A bargain, and he bought it at the floor auction in 2005 and 2017. He
bought the floor at the floor auction.
He did. 1.2 million. He's got the floor. All right. Last one here. The Julie Andrews Do Re Mi dress and a couple other costumes from The Sound of Music.
With other props and all. Okay, I'm gonna go 1.5 million.
1.5 million, Mike. 1.3 million. Dead on. Right. Dead on. And it's funny because the other one was the Gone with the Wind, the something Gone with the Wind, and that was also 1.5 million.
The wind. Gone with the Wind. You just walk around with a jar. I paid $4 million, but it was worth it.
All right, I lied. Last one. The X-Wing model used in Star Wars for the X-Wing. Last one, I promise.
Again, I'm guessing these are older auctions.
This is one I'm in on. To have the X-Wing model.
Yeah.
But then you can go to the toy store and get one that looks arguably better.
Yeah.
And
you could probably get a 3D printer and make a way better one than what that is.
And I could put it behind glass and be like, that's the original one, man, and spend like $30 on it. But yeah.
Can I touch it? No, it's behind glass.
Yeah. What do you got?
I'm going to say 800,000.
This one was a little beefier at $3.1 million.
Wow.
$3.1 million for that model.
I got to think that came later. If Darth Vader's mask is worth less than that, then.
Yeah. Off the top of your dome, if there was a prop from a movie that you could own Is there anything that like, man, I need that? Like, is it Freddy's glove? Is it the actual, like the bat behind you? What's his name? Negan's bat, you know, the real one. Is there anything you would want to own? And if you had expendable income like that you would be in on?
I think you talked about somebody bought it recently. The Batmobile from The Dark Knight. That would be solid in the.
Wow.
Imagine opening the garage and just seeing that right in front of you, like the military style.
I would love it if I just used it as my daily driver, though. Yeah.
Like traffic comes out, you just pop out with a motorcycle.
Yeah. I would want, I don't know. I have no idea what I would want, but like, I feel like I've been in a Christmas mood lately, preparing for the Christmas episode.
Mm-hmm.
I want Ralphie's broken glasses when he shot his eye out.
I wonder if they even kept it. Like, that seems like something they would just like thrown away.
Yeah. I wonder if they're in the museum that we talked to in 2016. I just posted today about it, but or the original Red Ryder BB gun that he got for Christmas. That I could see.
That I could see it being around, and you can bid on that
every year. Just kind of put it out around Christmas time, put it in the safe for the rest of the year. That's a cool one. But
like every year, you see an icicle and be like, I wonder if it could happen.
That would be my luck. I'd bid on the icicle.
I mean, it's got all the DNA on it and all because they wanted to be realistic. Yeah, we stabbed a little kid for this.
Yeah. So, yeah. Mike, what do you got? Anything before we go? I know you had a couple interesting adventures here.
Yeah, the last couple of weeks and all has been a heck of an adventure for me. As we talked about with the advent calendar, but I just want to kind of tell people as we're going into like the Christmas holiday and the New Year, as you know, as I constantly talk about my dogs, I just want to throw out there, you know, love your babies and all that. I unfortunately found out that Callie has a tumor in her intestine. Now, this was like a lot of the stuff I was going through last week. Like it was really rough. So like I had like a whole week off, and I was getting ready this past weekend. I was going to go to New Orleans, and we were going to bring Callie. We were going to keep Callie here and bring the other two. First, we were going to bring it to our trainer, who said, like, I'll watch them anytime, and Vader's free. Then went to, oh, yeah, times are tough. I'm charging you full price for Vader. And then 3 days later, oh, yeah, I have to work. Never mind. Screw you. Go find something else. So we were going to bring
and I will say, from a perspective of a guy who has one dog, I've had multiple people watch him, you know, when we go away over the years.
Such as I.
And when your source goes away, it's almost a little bit like panic inducing, like, oh crap, like I don't want to put him in the kennel, you know, like some of these places are just not the best. And my dog is used to free roaming and doing whatever he wants all day. And I've had that a couple times where it's like, oh God, like what are we going to do with the poor guy?
Yeah, the place I was going to, my dad left his dog down there and all that. But like as we were kind of going into the week, she's been showing us different signs. She's lost some weight. She's not been able to do a solid bathroom in quite a while, and it was progressively getting worse. Like it's one thing to have like regular loose bowels, then it's like just basically brown water, not even any substance to it. And then she getting so irritated, she would bleed from her butt. It wasn't in the stool. And we kind of questioned stuff for a while on what we were going to do. We were kind of leaning towards as just wait on whatever happened to happen. But since she was showing me signs, I decided to do a vet trip.
Sure.
And I want to give a shout out to the vet because as we went into it, it was very hard. And he's like, he looked at her, everything. And of course, he finds other stuff. She always had like a a bulge by her one armpit, and then she had some on her leg, and then as they examine it, he's like, he checks her neck, and he's like, yeah, she's got bulges here, and they do an ultrasound, and they say that she has a tumor in her lower intestine. But I asked him, I'm like, define quality of life, and he was very professional, and he said, is she walking? And I'm like, she's slower, but she's walking. She eating? I said she was eating less lately, but she's still putting food in her system. Is she showing signs she's her? And I said, yeah, even as we're doing this trip, and they say, want to go for, dogs are in the room, I won't say the word, but RIDE. She barks, wagging tail, all that. He's like, well, that's what I use as my guide. So you make the decision.
Yeah.
So I was fully going into this trip saying, this is it.
Sure. Yeah.
I was all I could think about was I was thinking about everything I was going to write on the Facebook posts, in the pictures.
Yeah.
But I will say since they basically gave her 3 meds, and she's been eating better, and she's still running around. We're still taking her to the dog park. We know we have shortened time with her, but it was still good. But it was kind of tough because, I think we did a podcast on Monday of that week where it was just through the interview. Then on Tuesday, my wife's got a musician friend. It was his birthday, and he asked people. I wanted people to show up for my music things, and also we had to go out for that, and it was kind of hard again because that's the day I made the appointment to get this done. Then on Wednesday was my work's Christmas party and celebration, and it was hitting hard. I actually had to, at some point, was wearing sunglasses inside because obviously they didn't want anybody to know.
Yep.
Oddly, nobody asked me about it, which was a little, it's like one of those things. It was kind of like, this is the same workplace where the shower door cut my nose. Yeah. And I went half the day with bandages all over my face and before somebody asked me about it. So that's kind of weird right there.
So you were in your UPS uniform with sunglasses, with tears rolling down your cheeks, and nobody said anything.
Yeah. On top of it, as I'm like thinking of stuff and not paying attention, I won an award during the awards and all. It's like I'd look up and people are looking at me. I'm like, what? And it's like, oh, my name's up there on the board. So I'm the unsung hero of 2024 for my company.
Wow. Okay.
So that was nice. And then on top of it, we go to the company party and they have scratch offs, and I won a $75 gift card off of that. So there's some good things there to kind of help things out before the Thursday. And the Wednesday night was a little hard even because we're trying to feed her and she was eating so less. I'm trying to give her bacon. She's not taking bacon. I'm giving her a pop cup. She ain't taking a pop cup. And we decided to take her for RID with other dogs, thinking this is the last time. And we go to a dog park, and there was a dog in there, and Callie wanted to go in with the dog, and he was getting mad with the Vader, the big dog, big tongue.
Big tongue, big dog.
Yeah. So there was a weird moment where I'm like, this could be Callie's last time, but at the same time, this dog might want to try to kill Vader. So it's also 10:30 at night. It was impromptu, and we're freezing, and all these moral debates going through my head through all of that. And things got good, but on top of it also, as people may know on this show, the running joke is the only vacation I get to do is Disney.
Yep.
On the show.
Well, we've been we've been turning a corner with that.
We did turn a corner.
Last year-ish, we've been turning a corner.
Yeah, we haven't gone in a year, but we really haven't like traveled anywhere in a long time. We planned this. It's like, this is Mike's birthday gift. The Washington Commanders are in New Orleans to play the Saints. I always wanted to go to New Orleans. So we got a 4-day weekend. We're going to do this. And obviously, what happened with Callie, then it's like, oh God, we like dicks to even think about it. So the wife said, I'm going to stay home with Callie. And we're not going to stay home with all 3 dogs, and you go out and do it. So my weekend was a Saturday that drives 7 hours to New Orleans.
Yeah.
To get into my
it's funny because I was thinking about you.
Yeah.
Over the weekend, I was texting you and stuff like that, and I was like, I wonder, like, I didn't even think about it. I was like, I wonder how far New Orleans is from here. I'm like, I put in your address, and like, I'm like, oh yeah, it's a decent haul still. You know?
Yeah, it's a decent haul. I listened to music. There obviously was good. Scott, I did want to give you this piece of information, but third Buc-ee's. I made it to my third Buc-ee's.
Wow.
There's one in Leeds, Alabama.
Okay.
I didn't even have it in the planning. And I was driving. I'm like, what? God does love me. I added to my brewery numbers. I had 2 in Mississippi. I had 2 in Louisiana. But it's still pretty exhausting. I probably with stops about 7.5, 8 hours to get to Louisiana.
Yeah.
Went out a little bit. There was a Washington Commanders takeover at a bar, but that was kind of boring. It's kind of like everybody's like, I'm in New Orleans, I want to get drunk. Nobody wants to talk about the game and all that. I talked more with like the 3 people who walked around with Saints outfits than anything.
Yeah.
Then I tried to go to the place you recommended, Preservation Hall. Preservation Hall.
Prohibition Hall's interesting, but you can't get a drink there. It's weird.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
That's why I didn't work out so well in Louisiana. But I almost got a little cheeky with the guy, so I didn't. So I it's literally next door to the bar I went to. It was just wild coincidence. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go in and get a ticket. And as I like step in, like the door guy gave me this "Can I help you?" kind of thing. Like not even like, because it was a ticketed event and they were sold out and everything. And I kind of gave him a look like, you could just said, "Hey, can I see your ticket?"
Yeah.
Like he gave a little too much emphasis and like judging by the size of
this bouncer job too much.
Yeah, and this is like a skinny white guy. This isn't I'm so sorry kind of guy. This is all right, maybe I'll think about this for a moment kind of things in there. But did that. And next day, walked to the Superdome to the game. And they tried to give me a heart attack, my team. They were up by 17, and they decided to give up a touchdown on the last play of the game. And the other team they were down by 1. They could have kicked a 1-point extra point or go for a 2-point conversion. They went for a 2-point conversion, and the guy threw it too far, so we won the game. So it was
again, I was thinking about you. I don't really root for Washington, but I was like, I was watching it progress to like, oh my God, they're gonna blow this. They're gonna blow this.
This is Burlew's Costanza kind of moment, kind of thing. Like this whole week, it was like a Costanza thing for me, like including Dan Fedex.
What is New Orleans? Because I liked New Orleans. I only went with just my wife.
Yeah.
What is New Orleans like alone? Like, is it kind of like, are you enjoying it, or you're like, man, this is kind of like, I need someone else here? Like
I would liked it with the wife. Like I'm not one of those party till I'm like uber drunk or anything kind of people and all. Obviously, a lot of people like to do that on the street. But
In
it
New
was
Orleans?
yeah.
No
Yeah,
way.
Google it. Google
No,
it.
I don't like you spreading these false rumors about New Orleans.
All right. But there was night. I mean, I do like the fact, like I just went to it since with everything happening, I didn't have a plan, so it's just like impromptu. Hey, can I walk to this brewery? And I'm like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Can I walk to this other brewery? And it's like, okay, that's in a bad part of town, but I got to that brewery and I walked through there. I mean, and then like the next day, I took my time with like getting a breakfast, and then I went out and I went to coffee shops and I got beignets. So
Nice.
obviously, it would have been. It's one of those. I wish I could have been there with the wife because like they also had like a steamboat with a jazz concert thing. I would have loved to taken her.
Yeah,
On
the
that
music,
and
the
whatever.
music down there is unbelievable. It's awesome.
Yeah, I stopped off and saw a few live music things when I was there. But then, like I said, after the game, I walked back to the hotel and I pretty much said there's no really reason to stick around. So I packed up and then I did 7 some hours one day and I did 7 some hours the next day and
Yeah.
got home around midnight.
In a way, like as a guy who has 2 kids and a wife, I'm like, oh my God, a week, even a night alone, like just listening to what I want to listen to, eat what I want to eat, drink what I want to drink, go to where I want to go. Sounds like pretty romantic, not romantic, like, love story, but like romantic in my head, like, oh my God, a night by myself sounds like the best thing. But I could see like one night would be more than enough. And then I'd be like, okay, I'm going to get the hell out of here.
Yeah, New Orleans seems like a 3-day weekend place.
We went for 3 days. By the third day, we're like, we don't need to be here anymore. Yeah, we're good. But it is cool to see. It is a spectacle.
And if you're curious, the Superdome, it was good views. But it's an old stadium, so it's like if you happen to be there and can catch a game, okay. Somebody's got it on the bucket list, check it off.
Yeah.
But like, don't be like, I'm going to make a specific special trip to go there, and that's the main focus of the trip, because
and you're catching them. Like I would like to go down there for the crowd and the culture, when you're catching them when they're terrible. The Saints are terrible, so it's got to be like a little bit less of a excitement, like from the crowd too. So well, I think any dog owner can sympathize with this thing. I have had, my dog is 13 years old, so obviously he's on borrowed time himself. And I have. It's funny when you say that, you're like, oh, the Facebook thing. I don't even know if I can have another dog again, because since the day I got him, I have thought of him, and I know it's not. I haven't thought of him justice, but I have thought of the borrowed time effect, like that these dogs don't last as long as we do, for better or worse. It's just like a mental illness thing that I have in my head, like where I'm like, oh my God, like eventually this is going to come. And I was a guy who grew up loving dogs, but my mom never let us have a dog, so I've never been through that, So, I think you're doing everything the right way, and it's going to be what it's going to be, and it's going to be terrible, but at least you're approaching it with class and approaching it the right way, and doing what you can, and you'll know when the time has come, and you don't know anything to anybody, like for what it means to you or how to grieve with it and whatnot. So just try to enjoy it while you can. So.
Yep, she's taking the pills and the chicken, so she's happy with that. And hey, I'm looking at least one more Christmas with her. I'll do everything to aim for another one after that, but once I get that,
don't play our Christmas episodes, because that she'll be barking to go to the vet.
Yeah, she might put the needle in herself.
I mean, I've been trying to get you to eat the chicken and the pill for a long time, but
I keep spitting out. I'm like, nice try, Scotty.
Well, we'll dive into that more whenever and things as it goes along. But it's time for us to get out of here. Mike, anything to promote, or you're good?
I guess I will also say I'm not sure when our final episode of the year's coming out, but I guess Groovy Joan, one of our biggest fans of the show, her birthday is coming up, I believe, on the 22nd. So, I mean, she might be one of the very select that's listened to coming up on 500 episodes. So, Joan, we just want to say thank you for all the conversations and feedback, and happy birthday, and plenty more for you.
Wow. A personal shout out for a birthday shout out. I will quickly promote. Oh, God, I'm dying.
Not a great choice of words after my story, buddy.
Yeah, well, the drones are going to kill me anyway, so I won't hear them this. There is a little boom in the pocket of comedians that I've worked with for 10 plus years coming out with comedy specials. KP Burke came out with a comedy special. Sean Morton just came out with one called Salty, and Mike Sicoli's got one coming out. They're all going to be on YouTube or are on YouTube. Go check them out. Those three guys are fantastic comedians, and better than that, they're fantastic people. KP Burke's been on the show. Mike Sicoli's been on the show several times. So go check out their work coming up. Guys, we're coming to the end of the year here, and we have probably one more episode for the year, which is the Christmas episode, which I look forward to every year. I will say, if you're a listener, I think this one's going to be a little different than the last couple. It's going to be more enjoyable? I think it might be more enjoyable. It might be more of a battle. It's not going to be so Burlew centric. We're going to bring some friends in on the show,
but I like Burlew centric.
Yeah, but I'm dying. Oh God, gross. But yeah, that is coming up, and we will continue the Christmas spectaculars. So tune in for that, and then from us, I just want to say Merry Christmas if you don't hear us before the next episode. So guys, other than that, life is funny. Laugh at it. Keep the wind at your back.
Love you, Kelly.